Charrette is a week-long combination of an old-fashioned town meeting, barn raising, and a design studio. We get a lot of community folks to come help us design. We design the plan out in front of everybody, and it's around the clock, back and forth on all the different ideas. We can go from many plans to one. The perspective of having a lot of different age groups is important. It's also been a mix in a lot of other ways. People that are the leaders of the community coming out who are from well-known and established families, and folks who just got here and are making their way. People of modest means and people with lots of choices. People with their own big businesses and people who are entrepreneurs starting up small ones. So there's been a kind of creative mix of all those different points of view.
We hope Wheeler will be a place where community happens. And it's not just something we want to talk about, but something we want to really see develop, see evolve. And it requires people that are committed to the project, that are living there, that are working there, that are part of that community. And so if that's what this project is about, then why not start there? Start with those people, people that are willing to come give their time, give their ideas, and hopefully give a little part of their lives to creating a place here in Oklahoma City that's really special.
There's about a half a dozen of us here from out of town, but a similar number from here in town, working on behalf of the developers. And that includes urban designers and people trained as architects, city planners, economists. We have a geographer, and a person who is a local engineer matched up with an out-of-town engineer who's essentially the dean of modern traffic engineers nationwide. So we get all those experts together, and we have been going back and forth. That way the plan will reflect the best thinking from all their professions rather than just one.
Really what we're seeing is a very broad market. Now, it's I won't say that it's the general market. I mean, clearly there's a bunch of people that are going to continue to want to live north and farther south and west and east. People that are going to want to live on larger lots or live on some land. But what we're seeing is that there is a market for smaller houses, a market for more urban development. We're seeing a lot of millennials, a lot of 25 to 34-year-olds with families, but we're also seeing, people that are boomers that are getting into their later years that want a place where they can walk. They want a place where they can experience what the city has to offer, where they can be close to downtown and all the activity in the Core Shore area, and where they can get all of that without having to make every trip by car.
What we did on the first night was 24 groups of people that were gathered around small tables, and they each had their own map and they made their own plan. And they came back with their own list of their top ideas. And then what we did the next day was we created a kind of amalgam plan that started combining them. We said, table 6 had the same idea that table 7 did. Let's put those on the map. And we just transcribed from those the big themes and even geometric ideas that were coming up over and over. And that started a kind of first draft sketch. And then we stood back and we looked at that and said, okay, what kind of urban pattern does that suggest? Where should the main street be? What should it be like when we arrive? How will we know when we've arrived at the right center of it? And detailed questions. Where does the Ferris wheel go, for example?
It'll start in phases, so it'll look small at first, but hopefully continue to grow over time. And as we grow into the plan, I think you'll really begin to see these individual elements of the plan come to life. And as that happens, ultimately, some version of what we're putting out there tonight, some version of that will come to life in time. It's going to take, 4 or 5 years to begin getting our feet on the ground, getting people there, getting people moved in. We expect that as early as 2016, we could have our first residents in Wheeler. But it won't be a complete plan. It'll grow over time. It could take 5, 10, 15 years, and then you'll really start to see a complete community where all the land's built out and it's really thriving. But we think we're going to have a special place in a shorter time frame than that as the people come online and we're able to create places that people enjoy.
I have to say, this is the very first time I've ever had a developer client who came to me and said, my brother bought a Ferris wheel on eBay. We need to find a really exciting place to locate it. And why not? What a great thing. It's an instant landmark once they get it out of the box and they bolt it together. It'll be visible in the skyline. It's beautiful. And it'll make an instant landmark. So we spent time thinking about 5 or 6 different locations all around the riverfront and elsewhere where you could position that. And I think we found the sweet spot because it'll be really beautiful from I-40, it'll be beautiful from the Western Avenue Bridge, beautiful from downtown. You'll go up in the gondolas on the Ferris wheel and you have a spectacular view of the Devon Tower and the rest of the skyline over the river. So that's really, really nice.
Yeah, right now it looks like the first development will happen on the west side of Western, which is the old Air Park side. We have a location picked out where we think the Ferris wheel will go that we're going to talk about tonight at the meeting. And then really look to begin creating the combination of multifamily options, apartments, townhomes, as well as single-family lots. We're talking to people about doing restaurants and coffee shops. We're talking to people about potentialities for markets or grocery stores. And then we're even talking to a group that wants to put in a school. So all of these components that help make for a great neighborhood, we will see pieces of that right off the bat, right in the first phase. But it just provides a glimpse of what the long-term opportunity is here.
When you come over that bridge, there really ought to be a special segment of Western, which is designed to handle all the traffic that needs to handle and work practically, but also be a good place to walk and be a good place to grow your business next to it and look like it's the heart of the community, kind of the high street or main street. And so exactly how you do the geometry of the traffic lanes and how you make the intersection designs doesn't have to be figured out on the first day, but we have a first crack at it, and I'm pretty excited about it because what it would mean is that for 1,000 feet or so as you move along Western Avenue, you'd be going through a really great urban, proud Main Street experience.
To see people in Oklahoma City respond in that way is really appreciated. And then pride in Oklahoma City. I'm proud of who Oklahoma City is, where it's been, and where it's going. And to get to bring consultants in from out of town and for them to be astounded at the types of people that are at the meeting, the types of ideas they're hearing, taking them to Live on the Plaza on Friday night and showcasing this culture, this vibe, the spirit that's in this community. It's really exciting. So I'm playing one role in that. My background's in planning and urban design, and through some combination of history and family and everything else, I get to wear the hat that I'm wearing today as developer. But this process is really more about creating space for so many creative people, inspiring people that are already here in Oklahoma City to be a part of collaborating to create something special.